Good evening, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Down South Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, flying solo tonight, Haley. Want to let you know my beer of choice tonight, the always reliable Miller Lite. Had a great first week, fantasy football. A lot of things to talk about, some nice scores, some injuries, and we're going to get to all that. We're going to go through the recap of everybody's game, going to do week 2 predictions, and a couple of hot takes from myself. So we're going to start off with my game, unfortunately a loss against Bo Leave Bell, a big victory for him, 153.32 to 120 flat, the biggest victory of the week. Believe Bell overcame some negative points from his defense and single-digit points from his quarterback. But what helped him was Michael Thomas setting a new Saints record for receptions, and Tyreek Hill just looking like a cheetah that nobody can catch on the football field. Myself had some nice performances from AP, looked good, doesn't look like his old self, but looks like he can go, at least half the season before wearing down. And Emmanuel Sanders, who, as I said last week, I think he's going to have a big year, and he had a big first week. Some mistakes I made, should have started Chris Thompson, 21.8 points on the bench. And then the number 3 receiver for the Packers, who looked very good, very reliable, Geronimo Allison, 17.9 points. But even if I started those guys, still wouldn't have won. A loss is a loss. We'll see what happens this week. Next game we got is my guy Tucker, who I had in a blowout victory, beating Built for the Future, which in reality, it was a good victory, not really a blowout. 172.06 to 148.52. All-around stud performance for my guy Tucker, except for Leonard Fournette getting injured in the Giant game. Don't really have a true update on him yet. The coach did say Fournette doesn't need to practice at all this week in order to play on Sunday, but who really knows? The big thing that held Built for the Future back from winning was benching James Conner, the starting running back currently for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who played in inclement weather where they were going to utilize a heavy run game. Unfortunately for me, I feel like he learned from his mistake there, as we will be playing each other this week. Next up, the third game of the week, we had E-Walking Dead with a huge win over Johnny I Want to Score More, 142.58 to 113.34. Myself and the commish both had Johnny I Want to Score More winning this. Proves how much we know. But that Brady to Gronk connection, for as many years as they've been doing it, they still make it look good. And it never goes out of style. But Johnny I Want to Score More also had some poor performances from his Chris's. Chris Hogan and Chris Boswell. Hogan with just 1 catch. Boswell with just 3 points. Also had missed field goal or 2. Not what you're looking for from your kicker. And didn't really have any standout performances throughout the week, but did also get some injury news here. Greg Olsen going down in the game. Even though he didn't start him last week, he looks like to be out for multiple weeks, injuring that same foot that it was last year. Next up, we got Silverback Nation taking down J-Way Bella, 111.76 to 99.26. The only guy in our league to not crack 100 points. And, he's got this similar feeling and this similar taste in his mouth because he has Kenneth Dixon injured once again. Also, left Isaiah Crowell on the bench for a beat of 22.2 points. Silverback Nation got the win, as I mentioned, made the right plays, had nice performances from Keenan Allen and the Ravens defense, who smothered the Bills. Don't know why Nathan Peterman is in the league, no less starting an NFL football game. And just in case everybody forgot, he also picked a tight end in the rookie draft who had a staggering 3.4 points. And he is very excited about that for reasons I don't know. Next, we got Shooter Stab with a nice victory over Staunch Moderates, 119.64 to 101.64. I called this one. I said Staunch Moderates has a lot of players on their team that still need to prove himself. Looks like that's going to be something they need to work out throughout this season. They started off very nicely with 28 points from Julio Jones on Thursday Night Football, but they really proved to bust their load early, as didn't get much going after that, especially seeing Deshaun Watson crumble the way he did over a meh Pats defense. Shooter Stab took advantage of a goose egg from Marquise Goodwin as well to get the victory with very balanced attack and AJ Green putting up 20.2 points. So that's the recap for last week. Now, gonna go into the predictions for this week. As I mentioned, I'm here by myself tonight. It's gonna be a quicker show than last week. Last week, 53 minutes, a little too long. Want to try and keep them at 30 minutes. Next week, let's get somebody on here, see what you guys have to say about it. So, going into the week 2 predictions. We got Johnny I Want to Score More versus my guy Tucker. I got this game as my nail biter of the week. Gonna be a very close one, especially if Fournette is out or limited for the Jags. Not a lot of replacement guys for my guy Tucker at the running back position. I think Reed feasts this week. They're going up against the Colts. Colts defense is terrible. Colts in general not very high. I'm not very high on this year. But Reed could also get injured on the first play. Nobody knows. Rivers also going to have a field day against the Bills, who they may be worse than the Colts. Who knows? At least on offense they are. Defense didn't show much against the Ravens last week. AB and Diggs are going to have big games again. Kamara going to have a little bit tougher time against an improved Browns defense, but he'll still have his. And Thomas should be fine against the Raiders. I don't expect too much from him, but he'll be okay. And as I mentioned, just the replacements for Fournette. Let me bring these guys up real quick. We got Chris Ivory, Rashad Penny, Corey Grant, who could see an uptick if Fournette doesn't play, but if last week showed us anything, the Jags are comfortable with giving Yeldon the ball a lot. And then you got Bilal Powell, who could have 2 great runs and a touchdown, but the Jets, for whatever reason, they don't trust him as a guy who can carry it more than about 10 times a game. So that's a big concern if Fournette doesn't play. Johnny I Want to Score More could have a tougher route here. He's got Rodgers, who was injured last game, came back in, helped win the game, but if he plays, not going to be 100%, and if he keeps toughing it out, not going to be 100% for a while. Barkley gets a better matchup, and that's evident. The Jags are a great defense, and now you're going up against the Cowboys, who look decent against the Panthers, but at the same time, I think Barkley has another big game. Cook's going to bounce back. He had a fine game. Some people are worried about the carry share that him and Latavius had last week. I think they're slowing Cook into it, and he's also the passing down guy, so there's really no concern there. Hogan's going to have another tough week, though. He had a bad first week. He's going up against the Jags, and, I mean, Marvin Jones, I don't know what to say here. Looks like he could have been already passed by Kenny Golladay, and is Matthew Stafford done, or just a bad week? He is a gunslinger. He can come back, and he can have a solid week, which would help Jones. Tough call, but I think my guy Tucker just has a couple better matchups, and I'm going to say he takes it here with a close victory. Our next game we're going to look at is J. Wade Bella versus the E-Walking Dead. Good matchup this week. You got J. Wade Bella coming off a loss. You got E-Walking Dead coming off a victory. But I see things evening out this week. I think J. Wade Bella is going to take this one. Love Melvin Gordon against the Bills, especially after what he did last week and what you saw the Bills do. So just that combination is ridiculous. You got Carlos Hyde, who, if anything in that sloppy game played, he showed he's the lead back for the Browns. So that's what you like to see in your number 2 back. Plus, he gets a favorable matchup against the Saints defense, who people thought was going to be really good this year, and they just let Ryan Fitzmagic do whatever he wanted and light them up. So I think he's going to have a great week. Travis Kelce can't do much worse than last week. He's going to get better. He's going to open up a better rapport with Mahomes. And then Chargers defense against Josh Allen. I don't even know how many interceptions that's going to be. Probably 1 for a touchdown, at least 2, maybe a fumble lost. I mean, there's just a lot to like right here. Walking Dead just doesn't have much wiggle room with his bench. Brady and Gronk going up against the Jags. Obviously, you wouldn't bench either of them, but Jags are a tough D. They're not gonna do what they did last week. They're not gonna put up a goose egg. They'll be okay. Just don't expect what they did last week. OBJ, I think he's gonna have a huge week against the Cowboys. He plays big in rivalry games. He played pretty well against Ramsey last week. Ramsey was talking, caught a bunch of balls, got over 100 yards again. I also think Ingram improves. He had a lot of drops last week, and if he has a lot of drops this week, that's just going to turn into something bad for the whole season. There's so much to like about J-Way Bell's team this week. I can't go against him. Walking Dead, I think they'll be fine, but they're just not going to be able to score enough points. J-Way Bell getting the victory here. Next, we got Shooter Stab versus Silverback Nation. Shooter Stab. Solid starters all around, but very similar to Walking Dead. A rough bench. It doesn't help that Johnson and McCoy both go up against very good defenses this week. It's going to be tough for those two to do anything. And then you got Joey Bosa coming back for the Chargers probably. That's going to make things even worse. I got Silverback Nation winning this one. If they can make the right starts, I would pull Jamal Williams right now and throw Juju in the starting lineup. He didn't start in last week. I think he's going to be great. They're going up against the Chiefs. Chiefs gave up points last week, and they're just a so-so defense. And then the Vikings, that's who Jamal Williams will go up against. That's not going to do anything for him. He didn't show much last week. I know Aaron Rodgers is going to be a little injured, but they never really tend to run the ball anymore, even if he is injured. Still got Ty Montgomery doing something there, and he's going to be in the shotgun more Rodgers, and that's just going to mean even less carries for Jamal Williams. So I'm going with Silverback Nation. I hope he listens to me here and plugs Juju into his starting lineup. Fourth matchup of the week. Believe in Bell versus Staunch Moderates. Staunch Moderates gave a lot of blind bid dollars for Trey Burton. The Trey Burton era was starting in Chicago. He knows the offense. He was teaching Trubisky the offense. Well, didn't turn out quite the way people expected. Very, 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 very slow start for Trey Burton with 1 catch in the first week. Trubisky, not a great quarterback. We didn't see much from him last year because they limited him. Maybe they didn't want to expose him. He's going to throw it more. He's not going to throw it a lot, though. And you still got Allen Robinson out there. He apparently likes Taylor Gabriel a lot. Anthony Miller's going to come around. Joe Ho showed that he can catch the ball. And you got Tariq Cohen. So Burton, I thought he was going to have a decent season, but once you start looking at things, I'm not so sure anymore. Then you got Watson coming off of that disaster game against an okay defense. It was in Foxborough, but the Patriots they're okay. Their defense, they're nothing special. And he crumbled. 50% of his passes, less than 200 yards. Touchdown, interception, fumble lost. It's just not good. Then, on top of that, he lost an offensive lineman as well to an already terrible offensive line. You got the status of Goodman and Freeman still up in the air. Both of them could be minor injuries. Still a little early in the week to tell. We're not sure. We'll see how that develops. But I would recommend starting Dion Lewis over your 2 tight end set. He had a big week last week. Good defense he's going up against this week, but I still think he catches a couple balls, gets a couple carries. And the commish who said that Derrick Henry would be, I believe, a top 5 running back at the end of the year, didn't have a strong start to the season. But Commish, Believe in Bell, had a great week from both Thomas and Hill. Not going to get that again, especially from Hill. I think he's more of an up and down guy. I think this could be one of those weeks where he's down. Maybe Mahomes tries to get somebody else involved in the offense. Also, very tough matchup for Mixon going up against the Ravens defense. They crushed the Bills last week, but that could also be a product of the Bills being pretty shitty too. Coleman could get the start if Freeman's out, and that could be a big swing in things. And Kittle looked very legit in week 1. Had a big-time drop, though, that could have gotten him about 14 more points. So he catches that. It looks like an even greater week. I got Believe in Bell going 2-0. And then the game of the week, Right-Handed Destruction versus Built for the Future. Game of the week, just because I'm in it, so get used to hearing this week in and week out. Early line has a 29.5 point spread. Not in my favor. But I will tell you one thing. I am buying the Redskins offense this year. AP didn't look exactly like him old self, but looked more than good enough. Had a nice reception, ran hard, got the ball a lot, got in the end zone. Alex Smith, still looking good. Had a great year last year. I think that's going to continue into him finishing as a top 5 quarterback in fantasy by the end of the year. And Thompson, great safety valve, had a nice game. And they also don't have many weapons on the outside. They got Reed if he stays healthy at tight end. And I don't really like any of their receivers, so I think by fault, you go to Thompson. And then my man, Emmanuel Sanders. I think he has another big game. And like I said last week, like I said earlier, he's going to have a big year reuniting with Keenum. Now you got Built for the Future. You got Wilson going up against a tough Bears defense. And Wilson also lost his wide receiver 1 last week. Now the Bears did give up points to Aaron Rodgers, who, great quarterback. Wilson, very good quarterback himself. 2 different players, though. You got Gurley getting a favorable matchup, as does Connor. But, Connor, jury's still out on that guy. 1 good game. Who knows? Evans and Adams both getting tough matchups against the Eagles and Vikings, which is going to hurt big time. Adams, he's also going to have Rodgers not at 100%. Evans, it does have Fitzmagic, who had a wonderful week last week. But we've seen that before from him, and we're not sure if he can keep that up on a week-to-week basis. And then you got Ernst, who probably have a big day against the Bucs. Even though the Bucs won, they still gave up plenty of points to the Saints. And, the Rams' defense is ridiculous, so they're going to put points up. He'll be fine there. That being said, I'm going underdog here, baby. Right-handed destruction with the victory, getting back to even par, and we're going to get a couple wins going in a row here. So, we got the recap, and we got the predictions. Last thing on the list right now, I got 2 hot takes for this week. So, hot take number 1. Going to talk New York Football Giants. OBJ goes for 150 receiving yards and gets in the end zone twice this week against the Dallas Cowboys to the tune of a Giants victory. And then the second hot take for the week, going to a different position, gonna go quarterback. Watson lays another dud. Watson throws under 200 yards again. Watson throws 2 interceptions. A lot of people were high on him, had him top 3 quarterback coming into the year. Top 3. Guy played, 5 games last year? We've seen a lot of guys put 5 games together. Blake Bortles has put 5 awesome games together, and he's a quarterback. He's nothing special. So, temper expectations. Good luck this week, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the podcast this week. Know it was a lot shorter than last time, and we're going to look to keep it around this time a little longer from here on out. So, after you guys listen to this, let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. Let me know when you want to be on the show. Let's go Giants.